Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca. Let's talk about makeup. So today we are doing my monthly roundup. We are taking a look at all of the empties I accumulated during the month of March, as well as all of the things that entered my collection during that time. I do want to make a little bit of an announcement. I mentioned this in my Throwback 30 Project Pan, but I'm going to mention it again here in case you did not watch that. This is going to be my last roundup video for a few months. I am currently 8 months pregnant. My little girl is going to be born at the end of April. And just from experience, I will probably not be wearing a whole lot of makeup for at least a couple months after that event, much less filming about it. So when I do eventually come back to filming, I'll just collect anything that I have, any empties and any new purchases I have accumulated in that time. And we'll just round it up into a collective end of spring, beginning of summer type video. Looking at the desk in front of me, I actually have a fair amount to go over here in both categories, both empties and new purchases. So let's get started. So empties first. Okay, I have a pretty decent basket here of empties. I have one hair care item here. This is a product that was rolled into my Throwback 30 Project Pan. This is the Kenra Platinum Thickening Mousse. I really actually quite enjoyed this mousse. It's not sticky or crunchy in my hair, gives a good amount of volume. It is a little spendy, which is maybe the only thing that would prevent me from purchasing it again. However, I believe I picked this up during an Ulta sale where I was able to pick it up half off. So if I was able to do so again, Ulta usually has a couple of hair events per year. So if I'm able to snag this again at such a good discount, I think I actually would pick up another bottle of this. Really did quite enjoy this. This one is a tiny bit of a spoiler for my 50 Shades of Brown Project Pan, but I do believe that at the last update, I was so close, so it shouldn't be too much of a surprise. This is my Holika Honey Blueberry Sleeping Pack. This has been my wintertime, nighttime moisturizer. Smells so lovely, really nice and hydrating, a beautiful gel-like texture. It can be, depending on how much you apply of this, it can be a little sticky. I do actually find a lot of sleeping packs to be that way, but it really did perform the function that I needed it to, which was to keep my usually combo oily skin from absolutely freaking out during the very dry winters that we have here. I really did enjoy this. I picked it up at TJ Maxx, I believe. If I were to see it there again, I probably would snag it again. A couple of other things from my 50 Shades of Brown Project Pan. You will already have seen these at the last update if you watched that video. This is my Dear My Dew Tranexamic Acid Serum. I love mixing this serum with my ordinary L-ascorbic acid powder to create my own little vitamin C concoction. It's a really nice little serum. I pick it up off of Amazon for, I want to say somewhere between $16 and $20, but I can't remember the exact dollar amount. This is the second bottle that I've gone through, and I have already started on the third. A couple of other skincare products. This is my Laneige Cream Skin Mist. I think this is the second bottle that I have worked my way through. I really enjoy this, especially in the wintertime, for just adding an extra layer of hydration to whatever skincare I've got going on that day. I also really enjoy applying this immediately after a shower, just all over the face, to prevent too much water loss from occurring before I'm able to get in there with my skincare routine. It is just a really lovely product. Laneige is no longer making these. When I found that out, I kind of stocked up. This is my second of 3 bottles. I'm going to be very sad when that third bottle is gone. So I'm already on the hunt for a suitable replacement. So far, I have not found anything that's quite right. It is incredibly lightweight and non-greasy, but very hydrating at the same time. I'm not really sure how they were able to strike that balance with this product, but it is a shame that it's no longer available. I also finished this. This is my Soul Body hair and body oil. This doesn't normally have shimmer in it, but I have been using it in conjunction with my Cover FX Cover FX shimmering something. What is it called? I don't know. It's the liquid highlighter that Cover FX has. If you guys have watched any of my 50 Shades of Brown videos, I have complained about that highlighter at length. I mean, it's tiresome at this point. I don't need to do it any further. I don't like it. And so in an attempt to use up a product I don't like, I mixed it here into the Soul Body oil which I mostly applied on my body. I actually really enjoyed it, enough so that I went on the ColourPop website to see if they were still selling these, and they are not selling this exact one. They're selling a couple of different other like shimmering body oils, which is obviously what this became after I added the Cover FX into it. But the shimmer isn't really what I was after, especially because I usually applied this at night. Like nobody was seeing it. I was just getting glitter on my sheets. But in any case, while I did enjoy it over the winter, I don't think that a body oil really has a necessary place in my routine during the warmer months. So if I do repurchase something along these lines, it won't be until next winter. A couple of items from my Throwback 30. I finished my Levito Nurturing Hand Cream. This is in the scent Patchouli. It is a very, very fragranced hand cream. A little more fragrance than I would prefer, but the formula of this hand cream is the only one I have ever been able to tolerate because it sinks right in and doesn't leave a film on my palms, which has been my beef with all hand creams forever. I cannot stand that sensation on the palms of my hands. This is the only hand cream that doesn't do it. I am absolutely going to repurchase, although I think I'm going to try out their lavender scent next time rather than picking up another one of the patchouli. I think this is the second tube that I have been through. I definitely will be picking up another one. If you are sensitive to fragrances, don't even think about it. It'll give you a headache. So I also completed this. This is my Eliza Vecca Milky Piggy Enzyme Powder Wash. This is a similar idea to the Tatcha Rice Wash, I think, that they offer. This one smells a little bit like cereal. It is a very gentle manual exfoliant. I do think it's gentle enough that I could use this every day, but I usually ended up using it 2 to 3 times a week. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. I don't think I'm going to repurchase it immediately. Not because I dislike it, but because I have some other exfoliants in my collection that are kind of waiting to be used, and I'd like to work through some of those before purchasing another one. But I absolutely could see myself picking up another one of these. Really did enjoy this. Okay, on to some makeup. So you will have seen this in my last 50 Shades of Brown project pan if you watched that video. This is my Salt New York Sneaky Balm in the shade N10. I really do enjoy this cream-based product. It's a sheer to light coverage product, but it's one of those creams that just sinks right into the skin and completely disappears. It is perfect for those days when I want a little something on my face to just even things out a little bit, but I don't want to have to go reach for a whole lot of other products to add dimension back to my face. I can just dab this on where I need it with my fingers and just pretend I have better skin than I do. So it does not last terribly long on my combo oily skin, even in the wintertime when it's a bit drier, but it is lovely while it lasts. So I really do enjoy this product. I have enough base products right now that I'm trying to work through, including some sheerer coverage products that I don't think I'm going to rush right out and purchase this again. But I definitely could see myself doing so again in the future. I have a little bottle of my Temp 2 Blue Mixer. I know it doesn't look empty, but I swear to you, that it is. I love this Blue Mixer. I use Blue Mixer almost every day of my life in order to adjust my foundations to better match my muted cool olive undertone. Makeup companies just do not represent olive undertones, and cool olive undertones even less so. I have run into a couple of foundations that are close enough that I don't have to mix them, but it's really an unusual situation when that occurs. So I do use a Blue Mixer almost every time I do my makeup, and this is my favorite one. I have tried the LA Girl one. I've actually been through multiple bottles of the LA Girl Blue Mixer. That's a nice one, but I do prefer the Temp 2 simply because I don't need as much product, and it doesn't seem to interfere with the original formula of whatever foundation I'm adding it to. Love this product, will never not repurchase. 2 more makeup products. I have a little mini of the Milk Rise mascara. I picked this up in a sample pack of mascaras that I bought in November. And this one, I did like the very fluffy lash that it would give me for the first 30 to 60 seconds after application. After that 30 to 60 seconds, my lashes would absolutely fall. There was no rise in this mascara whatsoever. It also dried out really quickly. I don't know if that is a problem that is unique to just the sample component or if that's something that I would experience in the full size, but I'm not going to find out because I need something that is going to hold a curl a little bit better in my lashes than this one. All right, last thing I have here in the basket is this brow pencil by Langmani. I had a duo of these. I finished the one in gray I think last month, and this one was the soft black pencil. I do like the formula of these pencils. They're very fine, they're very precise, they have a decent amount of pigment, but not too much, especially given the fact that I do tend to use very dark colors in my brows. And the price is right. It's like a couple of dollars a piece on Amazon. I think I have found another product that's also very reasonably priced that I think I like a little bit better than this one. We'll talk about that one in a minute. So those are all of my beauty empties for the month of March. Let's talk about the things that entered my collection. The first thing I want to mention is actually something I should have mentioned in my February roundup, and I don't know why I didn't, because I was actually wearing it on my face while filming that video. This is not a new purchase. This was decluttered to me by the lovely Ruth Foley here on YouTube. This is the Adept Minka palette. This palette is no longer available. I know they have a new one out, but to be perfectly honest, I think I like this one better. This was a palette that was on my palettes that got away list for ages. And Ruth, being the absolute doll that she is, after rolling it into her deck of panning back in January, she packed it up and sent it my way. I was able to send her a couple of things she's not able to get her hands on quite as easily in Ireland. And I rolled this into my deck of panning in February and have got several uses on it, and I've really enjoyed it. I've just been having so much fun with this palette. Thank you so much, Ruth. So back in September, I purchased a number of lip liners from Give Me Glow Cosmetics, and I was really impressed by the tonality of the colors that they offered. I definitely find a lot of the lip liners offered across most major makeup brands to just be very interchangeable as far as the colors go. Obviously there are some differences in formula, but the colors, everybody has the pinky nude, okay? That is always too light and too warm for me. They have the warm rose, which is the right depth for me, but reads orange on my cool olive undertone. It's almost impossible to find a lip liner that's properly cool toned without it also being very deep. Finding a properly cool toned nude for my skin tone, it's just really difficult. And I was actually able to find a couple of those in the Give Me Glow lineup. So I was so impressed by the nuanced color choices that Give Me Glow had made when creating this lineup of lip liners that I went back for another one. I have been looking for a while for a good red lip liner that doesn't lean too cherry and that has enough depth to really give me the definition I'm looking for when wearing some of my deeper red lipsticks without leaning too brown. And I think I found the one. This is the Give Me Glow Cosmetics lip liner in the shade Sweater Weather. This is what it looks like right here. Of course, I found it just in time for spring to roll around, and I'm not super into wearing reds during the warmer months, but I am glad that I have it in my collection. Like the other lip liners that I picked up off their site last year, this one was on the sales section of their site for $1. And so when I picked this one up, I was like, well, I gotta find something else to add to this order to justify the shipping cost. So I did just that. I picked up 2 of Give Me Glow's mini highlighters, one in the shade Sweet Dreams. This one is in this kind of cooler pinky champagne color there. And I also picked up Pink Moscato Wasted. This is kind of a pink gold duochrome type highlighter. These are the mini versions of these highlighters, and I think I picked them up for $2 a piece. After having used them a couple of times, I find the formula to be very thick. It's not the very thin, lightweight powder that I'm used to experiencing when it comes to highlighters. I don't know if you can tell. It is a very thick formula, and while it is very reflective and there isn't any really discernible sparkle there, it's a metallic sheen. It's a formula I would expect more from an eyeshadow than I would from a highlighter. It is also a very opaque base. There is no translucence, and I feel like as highlighters, they do tend to emphasize texture a little bit more than I love. So while I did pick these up as highlighters, I think they're probably going to end up finding a more permanent home in the single eyeshadow drawer of my collection, just because this kind of thicker metallic formula is more appropriate for an eyeshadow than it is for something that's going to go on my face, particularly in an area where maybe I'm trying to avoid emphasizing some of the texture that I've got there. Then, because I just couldn't leave well enough alone, I think Give Me Glow is liquidating these this line of their cheek products. So we have the bronzed bombshell bronzers, okay, and we also have the Dream Blush blushes. So I got two of the Dream Blush. Well, I meant to get two of the Dream Blush blushes. I have the shade Dear Diary here. Very, very pretty, slightly cooler, dusty rose. And then Mauvelous, which is this much cooler, dusty mauve shade. Both very beautiful. Somehow I accidentally picked up two of the Dear Diary. It is not worth a return. I double checked my order. Somehow I managed to hit the quantity of two. That's on me. These were $4 a piece. It's not worth a return. So I just put the extra one back in its box and I'm going to save it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll stick it up on Mercari, or I've actually had a couple of incidences where I've ended up with duplicates over the last few months. And so I might accumulate a few more things and, like, I don't know, do a giveaway or something like the old days of YouTube. That sounds fun, right? So these blushes, I wanted to love these so bad because I really do feel like they kind of showcase some of the nuanced color that Give Me Glow is so good at. And I've only used these a couple of times, so I need to experiment with them a little bit more before I can, like, give you my final thoughts. There is a white base in these that I wouldn't expect from something of this depth that makes, I'm wearing it right now, and I don't know if you can tell on camera, but there is a slight ashiness to my cheek right now. And it's not the desaturation of the blush that I'm objecting to, because I do have kind of a muted skin tone. So I do tend to like a little bit more gray mixed into my color cosmetics than people generally do. But something about the white base used under this pigment is just, it's giving bruise on my cheek. I think it might be an interaction with the bronzer that I'm wearing underneath. Whereas I feel like if this had more of a transparent base rather than such a strong white base, I don't think I would be running into that problem. I need to experiment with these a little bit more to see how I feel. But first impression, the color choices themselves, beautiful, but the formulation is leaving something to be desired, I think. Then I have three of their bronzers. I picked these up because, again, in swatches, they just looked so unlike most bronzer lineups that I have seen. I'm actually gonna see if I can find a picture of the swatches of their bronzers and throw them up here, because they're just, they're a little unusual, and I love that. So this first one here, Sunburn, this is that perfect, is it a blush, is it a bronzer type product that you know that I love. I think it's a little too blushy on me to quite be a bronzer, but I don't mind because it doesn't seem to have that same white base that these blushes do. And so I actually think it makes a really flattering blush. And I'm happy to have this one in my collection. Then I also have Thong Season, which I think the swatch on this one was actually a little misleading. It looks significantly cooler in swatches than how it appears, at least on my skin tone. It has a lot of saturation and it is pretty deep on my skin tone right now. However, it has that reddish base under it that I just do really find flattering on my skin tone, especially during the summertime when I have a little bit of a tan. So I think I might actually end up really enjoying this in the middle of summer when I have a little bit more depth to my skin tone. We'll have to see how it goes. Finally, this one is Ocean Drive. This one definitely more of a contour than it is a bronzer. I tried to wear it as a bronzer once and it was kind of a disaster. However, here's the thing I'm really curious about. I almost kind of want to Franken the two of these together and see what happens, you know? These were both $4 a piece. I wouldn't mind scraping a little bit out of either of these pans. The packaging is gorgeous. I think it's beautiful. So yeah, I might experiment with Frankening a couple of these shades together and seeing what I come up with. In any case, three more bronzers in my collection, maybe a little excessive, but you know, I've said it before, good sale gets me every time. I look forward to playing with those a little bit more. I'll give you some updated thoughts on those a little further down the line once I've had more time to really formulate my thoughts about them. So that was my Give Me Glow Cosmetics haul. And I have another one here from Stylevana. I actually put this order in back in February, but it took 3 zillion years to get to me. So I was picking up some skincare for my sister and I threw a few things in the basket for myself. These two are from the same. It's a concealer pencil, somewhat along the lines of the ones recently released by Lisa Eldridge. So this one is in the shade 1.5 Natural Beige. It is a little bit on the light side for me, even at this point in the year. So I don't know how useful it's going to be for spot concealing around the face, but I could see myself doing some highlighting with this. But yeah, I haven't really had a chance to really play with this a ton. I also got the same product in the shade Contour Beige, which, to be honest, is not deep enough to be a hugely effective contour on me, I don't think. However, this may be a better spots concealing shade for me in the summertime. So we'll see how that plays out. It'll be interesting. I also got 2 eyebrow products. One of them is the Peri Peri Speedy Skinny Brow. This is in the shade Cool Gray. This is a little lighter than most eyebrow products that I go for, but it is nicely desaturated. So it definitely gives me a much softer brow than I have been getting from the black pencils I have been using it. And I'm kind of into it. I'm kind of really enjoying that. When I do want a little bit more definition in certain areas, that's when I can go in with something like this. This is the Making Pretty pencil. There's spoolie on one end, micro pencil on the other, as per usual with these. This is actually a really tiny, tiny teardrop shape, which I don't hate because of how small it is. If it was any bigger, I would probably have complaints about the teardrop shape, but it's small enough I can almost pretend it's a micro pencil. So this one has a little bit of warmth in it. It's definitely more of a brown. It's kind of a grayish brown for sure. It's a very ashy brown, but it definitely has more saturation in it than the Cool Gray does. So what I have been enjoying doing is going through most of my brow with this, and just with certain eye looks, when I feel like I need a little bit more definition, particularly through the tail, I will go in with this one. And that has been working out really well together. Last thing I picked up from Stylovana is this. This is a little mini size of the Laneige Cream Skin Serapeptide Refiner. This looks very similar to the Cream Skin Mist that I just finished, and then I'm so sad has been discontinued. The obvious difference is this is meant to be decanted rather than sprayed onto the face. I have used it once. I've really enjoyed it. I think the formula might be as nice as the Cream Skin Mist. I would rather have it in a spray. So I may actually save the next bottle of setting spray, skin mist, what have you, and pour this into it. I just find the spray so convenient, so much more convenient than decanting something into my palm or onto a cotton round. I would try that with the Laneige, but unfortunately, it's sealed. There's no getting into this one. I mean, I could probably get into it, but there's no way wait, what? For a moment there, I was full of hope, but no, once the seal is broken, there's no putting it back on, unless the collar can hold it down. I think the collar could hold it down. You guys, could this work? I was thinking I wouldn't be able to get through this, but I've got to try this. I don't know if it's the same viscosity. It might not be, it might be too thick to move through this sprayer. It's only one way to find out, right? So this, I can't get this to seal down. I think it was machine sealed when it was produced, but this collar might be able to hold it down. Moment of truth. You guys, it works. Victory. I'm super shiny now. This really is such a lovely hydrating mist. So if I could just continue purchasing the Cream Skin and just pouring it into this bottle. You guys, that is exciting. That is exciting. I'm very pleased with that. During the summertime, this would be 100% sufficient for me as my only moisturizer. During the wintertime, I like layering this sort of thing up with other products. I'm just so excited. That means I get my Cream Skin Mist back. I don't know if these are the exact same, have the exact same ingredients. I do feel like this one seems a little bit thicker, which makes sense if you are supposed to decant it. But yeah, that's exciting. And that is it. Those are all the products that entered my collection during the month of March. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I will see you in the next one.